Yo, it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why semen retention makes you more intimidating. Well, why does this practice make you more intimidating? And the thing is, the reason why it makes you more intimidating to to and it really kind of depends what you mean by intimidating. Because to other people you might be found as very attractive, but other people you might actually be more intimidating, and it really has nothing to do with your physical characteristics or anything like that. What it really just has to do is just the subconscious vibes that you're giving off. The subconscious vibes that you're pretty much giving off. See, someone who isn't on this practice and then they encounter someone who is on this practice, they might feel a little bit intimidated by them. They might feel as if there's something that they need to do to get onto to that person's level. They just might feel as if they're not good enough, so they might feel like they have to do certain things to try to get onto this person's level. See, the thing about seed retention and why it can actually really transcend and be like so powerful is because if the whole thing about procreation was the seed is create another life. You have to start thinking to yourself, what happens if you were to conserve that energy? What really can happen to you? There might be some surges in your body, and you might start feeling like your inner lion is finally awoken. Your inner lion, the person, your authentic self, the person that you really wanted to be, might start finally resonating with yourself. Maybe in the past you were relapsing a lot and you never wanted to start a business. But once you go on retention, you start realizing that things may be possible. You start realizing that maybe I actually can do this, and you stop giving yourself excuses. Because the thing is, semen retention just makes you more of an alpha male. It just makes you more ready to go and do things. It makes you just a lot more likely to take action. It makes you a lot more likely to just become who you really want to be. And to the people who don't take as much risks and are just very conventional, they might be a little bit intimidated by you, because you're finally living in resonance with your true self. Because a lot of people are living off of their ego. They're living off of their ego and thinking they can pretty much thrive. And the thing is, your soul is more effective than your ego. If you literally live from your ego self and you make decisions based on how your ego will feel, then it's just not, then you're just going to be a lot more effective. I mean, if you just make decisions off your ego, of why some certain things can't happen and why you can't do this and why you can't do that, you're gonna be living in a shell, in a lower vibrational state. See, the thing is, like, if you go on retention and you've been also meditating, working out and things like that, it's no longer just you in this inner matrix. It's you and your higher self living in this matrix. You start realizing that every single interaction that starts happening with people is just it's more powerful, it's more authentic, it's more natural, and it just makes you more of a better person. When you relapse, your subconscious is starting to realize that maybe you might not be the person that you thought you were going to be, and people might feel that, because you start doubting yourself. The more you doubt yourself, the more other people will doubt you. So it's best to retain and just be on your mission. See, the thing is, like, the reason why people will find you more intimidating is because everyone is just too kind of scared to go over the edge, go on the other side. They're too scared. They just like to play it safe, and they like to be comfortable. And like I said, being comfortable is a little bit overrated, because I mean, if you're always comfortable, you're never stretching yourself for anything more. You'll never know what it really feels like to really grow. Growth and comfort cannot correlate. There's no correlation between being trying to grow as a person and being comfortable. You have to be a little bit uncomfortable to be able to grow. This is the only way to really find out what you're made of. This is the only way to find out how you can critically think. This is the only way, just to be, like I said, the 2.0 version of yourself. And the thing is, the reason why you start becoming more intimidating is because if it really doesn't have that much to do with physical looks. Physical looks can come into it, but it just gives is the reason why you're intimidating is because you're more sure of yourself. You're finally more sure of yourself, because a lot of people like to doubt themselves way too much. They're always doubting and they're never really sure of themselves. But if they come across somebody who's sure of themselves, they have if they come across somebody who is sure of themselves, they might be in awe of you, because you're doing something that no one really is really doing. You're making decisions based off your intuition instead of fear-stricken decisions. See, the thing is about, if you make decisions based off fear, people won't be, they're not going to be intimidated by you. They're not going to look at you in admiration, because anybody can make a decision based off fear. But if you're making decisions based off your intuition and what you truly want, you're gonna be a dangerous man. You're gonna be someone who can be admired, because not everyone has the courage to do this. I was listening to something earlier, and it was basically saying, conformity is the opposite of courage, not cowardice. If you conform and you just never really go exert yourself to anything else, anything better, it's just like, I mean, you're gonna live, you're gonna make a living, you're gonna do this, you're gonna have all this, but there's never gonna be a really true sense of purpose and meaning. And this is the only way to really become free in this life, because we have there's been a lot of people, there's been, in society's eyes, you have to do certain things to be able to be considered well off. And we've seen the manifestations, and that's just not the case. Today's society, you have to put 2 times the effort to get ahead. The system may not be the best way to go. You might have to look into your own sort of education, self-education. You might have to read into something to try to get ahead. So yes, you'll become more intimidated, and you'll become someone to be intimidated. Become more intimidating just because you're becoming sure of yourself, and you're going after things that people don't usually go after, because there's opportunity comes very, very sparingly, and someone who actually takes the opportunity and does something with the opportunity is just going to be, like I said, is going to be more admired than the person who's making decisions based off fear. Like I said, the reason why you're more intimidating to people is because your subconscious is barking at other people, saying that you're a very fully authentic and capable man. There's just a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of people who are not living in their true identity. They're living off their ego identity. And like I said, the soul is more powerful than the ego. The ego has to have a reason behind doing things. The soul doesn't have to have a reason. It's just because of the person that you are or you're becoming. This is how you can live your life very powerfully. If you're making, like I said, if you're making decisions based off your soul and your intuition and what's best for you, instead of making decisions based off fear or ego or societal based decisions that deem like responsibility or expectations. See, the thing is, like, maybe in terms of even relationships, if you're making decisions based off out of pure soul love was one thing, and then responsibility based decisions, then there's a big difference, because like I said, the soul is more powerful than than the ego, than the three-dimensional body that we're in. So, like I said, you're going to be living in full resonance with your soul instead of your ego, and you're going to be looked at as more of a factor. You're going to be looked at as just someone who is very capable of walking his own path, instead of taking the fear-based approach. So, I mean, like I said, to naysayers and things like that, they're going to think that, who is this guy trying to be? Who's this person trying to be? Why doesn't he just do this? Why doesn't he do this? And the thing is, if they're not talking about you, then you're not doing something right. Like, you just have to become very confident in whatever you're doing, regardless of if you're confident or not, and somehow your reality will catch up, if that makes sense. So like the video, comment, and subscribe below. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.